Top notch family, what is going on? So, in today's video, we are going to be reacting to ranking the top 30 potential 2025 NBA free agency. Now, I understand free agency is no longer the same. And that's because a lot of players get, contract extensions and all this other stuff, but there's still going to be some good role players that can definitely help out contender teams next year. And depending how obviously they finish this year, right? So we're going to start it off with number 30, and this is Bleacher Report at the end of the day. This is not me, but they got Luke Cornett at 30. So pretty much, Boston Celtics, it says $2.8 million minimum. Rightful. He had earned a notice as a rotation player as one of the top teams in the NBA. He has legit size at 7'1" and maybe a role player teams consider, especially with the Celtics already heavy with a heavy payroll. Boston could pay him more than minimum, but if another team offers something in like the $5 to $7 million range, the Celtics may feel the pressure to financially move on. Now, I agree. I mean, I think Luke Cornett is not spoke enough about. I mean, he plays his job like his role, and that's all he needs to really do. I'm gonna show you on the screen what he has done so far through his Celtics tenure. This year, averaging 5 points a game, 5 rebounds, close to 2 assists, 65% from the field, close to 67. Right? He's not he does what he needs to do straight up as that man. And he brings that rim protection, he brings that size, and they already got their bigs with Luke Cornett, Al Horford, Porzingis, and Kata, man. So I definitely think he's one of the more underrated players in free agency, and it's really, really good. I give him his credit for sure. He definitely turned his career around. And then they got 29 Dennis Schroeder, $13 million in salary. Hasn't played for every NBA team, but it feels like it's only a matter of time. The veteran guard can fit as a role player in a playoff team and put up big numbers for a bad one. Through 23 games, he was averaging close to 18. Well, he was averaging 18 points a game, 6 assists, shooting 38% from the three-point line. Yeah, Dennis Schroeder is a good player. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was balling with the Nets, and then he got bounced to the Warriors. He struggled over there, and then he just been bouncing team to team. But I can honestly see him staying with Detroit. I mean, Detroit's building something special over there. Like a lot of their young guys, I'd say a lot because then Jaden Ivey will come back, so you kind of get more or less time. But I mean, the Pistons are on a 5-game win streak right now. They're 30-26, 6 in the Eastern Conference. I mean, they're a really, really good team. And so when you add veteran experience and a veteran guy like Schroeder to Detroit or to any team, he definitely can improve them for sure. So let me know in the comment sections, where do you got Dennis Schroeder going to? Malik Beasley, another free agent. This dude has been playing incredible basketball. I mean, he been also another good year for him. I mean, him and Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, I think a lot of these players don't get talked about because they're in Detroit. But let me just show you his numbers. Like he even went on Neon Stream, was pretty much saying like Detroit treats them really good, and he played for a lot of teams. Like, look at this. The dude's averaging 16 and a half points a game, shooting 42% from the three-point line. He put up 36 against the Sixers, 17, 24, 14, 16, and 20. Like, I can see him staying in Detroit for real, for real. But he been really playing some really good basketball this year, man. So shout out to Malik Beasley. Then we got D'Angelo Russell, which D'Lo, I expect him to stay with the Nets. I think the Nets just fit perfect for him. The dude, and this is not bashing him at all. I just feel like he can't play for any contender teams. I mean, when we did see him, he was unplayable. Look at the Timberwolves. Look at the Golden State Warriors when he was back there. Look at the Lakers. I just don't feel like, he could be the guy on the contender team that they're going to rely on. So I expect him to stay here. He has a ball in his hand. He can finally play basketball. And yeah. Now, this is a good one. Ty Jerome. I mean, no one really, like, if you're a casual, you're not going to know these players, but Ty Jerome is definitely getting the respect that he deserves. I mean, he's one of the best players coming off the bench for the Cavaliers. And, like, no exaggeration, like, seeing him develop from, no, not even develop, seeing his growth through last year to this year is just amazing. I mean, look at this dude. Played only 2 games last year, right? Averaged 7 points a game. Well, I'm sorry, 7 minutes a game. He averaged 2 points a game. This year, he's an important piece of the rotation. Dude shooting 44% from the three-point line, 52% from the field, and 11.4 points. Close to 2 steals, 1.2. Like, he's playing really, really good basketball, man. So shout out to Ty Jerome. Definitely going to be, worth going after and free agency if the Cavaliers can't keep him. He is $2.6 million. You got Kelly Oubre. I think Kelly Oubre has been amazing for the 76ers. Like I said, another player that has been playing good, averaging 14 points a game, close to 15. Obviously, has been a disaster in Philly, with the Paul George and Joe Embiid. But if he does stay with Philly, I think it'll be cool. But if he goes to another team, I definitely think he can help out for sure. Then they got Jake LaRea, a solid player, can shoot the three, does a lot of little things. Karis LeVert, it'll be interesting to see if he stays with the Hawks. But I mean, if he doesn't, he'd definitely be one of those players that could provide a spark coming off the bench. That's what he did for the Cavaliers. He's doing that for the Hawks right now. I've been doing that throughout his career. So shout out to Karis LeVert. Be interesting to see where he goes. And then also Clint Capella. Clint Capella is getting a little bit older, but I do think he could play that veteran role as that backup center. He is 30 years old. Clint, obviously, Oneko Kongu is taking over, but this dude, Clint Capella, can still give you 10 points and 10 rebounds every single night as a backup center. So I don't think that's a bad option at all. Cam Thomas is very, very interesting. I'm gonna be honest with you. Be interesting to see what they do. I expect him to stay in Brooklyn, but if somehow in some way he leaves his team, you're gonna get a bucket getter. And I know they're not the biggest fans of Cam Thomas because like Cam Thomas, like to me, is like a 2K player, but he has probably the best bag. Like I don't want to say the best bag, but I mean, that dude's a professional bucket getter. I mean, dude's averaging close to 25 points a game, shooting 38% from the three-point line. He only played about 19 games this year because he has been dealing with injuries, but man, oh man, he is very, very talented. So I'll be interested to see what happens with him because he could possibly be the best free agent if he goes anywhere, right? Tyus Jones, which is funny because Bleacher Report's already messing up. How you gonna put Tyus Jones and this is Fred VanVleet? Come on, Bleacher Report. You gotta fix your stuff up. But Tyus Jones went to the Suns, solid point guard in this league. I expect him to lead the Suns. I mean, the Suns are a disaster, so he could be a starting point guard in this league, he can be a backup point guard. He does it all. He can shoot the three, play make, get his teammates involved. I think he'd be really, really good for any team. Chris Paul, I think Chris Paul retires next year. I don't really think he'll be a free agent, to be honest with you. I definitely think Chris Paul retires. Let me know what you guys think about that. Russell Westbrook, this one's interesting. My favorite player in the game. I expect him to retain with the Denver Nuggets. I mean, he's having a really good year. There was a moment where he was in the starting lineup playing amazing basketball. Got injured, went back to the bench. So kind of been going back and forth. But him and Jokic do have a connection. I expect Russell Westbrook to stay with Denver. He loves his fans, and he definitely loves his teammates. Al Horford, this one's going to be tough for the Boston Celtics. I don't know if they can retain him at all. Like they're really in cap hell. Like it's going to be hard unless out. Like I don't see Al Horford on no other team though. If he retires, then maybe not maybe, but if he does retire, then I could see that. I just can't really picture him on any other team at all. Can y'all? I just can't. I mean, he's 38 years old, so he might retire next year. I mean, he won his championship. We'll see what happens with him, but it's definitely going to be a loss for the Celtics for sure. Yeah, he's going to be 39 next season. It's going to be tough. I don't expect him to stay. Quentin Grimes, if the Sixers are smart, they keep him. I mean, he has been playing amazing basketball. They completely ripped off the Dallas Mavericks straight up. Like Caleb Martin, just injury prone. You know what I mean? Quentin Grimes is a good defender and a good scorer. Has improved dramatically. Merrick Coffey, one of those role players that can give you some buckets coming off the bench. Nothing crazy. Surprised he's here this high. I think there's way better players than him, but hey, that's fine. Santi has an amazing year this year. I mean, if Memphis Grizzlies can't afford him, that would be kind of tough because he plays a big factor for this team. I mean, he's averaging 13 points a game, 7 rebounds, shooting 49% from the field, and he's still fairly young. He's only 24 years old. So that would definitely be a big loss for the Memphis Grizzlies. It says restricted. It says he gave the Grizzlies a different look as a scoring big man to partner with All-Star Jackson Jr. and rookie Zach Edey. He's a legit 7-footer, but at 215, he's mobile enough to play the 4. Like I said, he's averaging 13 points a game, 38% from the three-point line. Anticipating its growing budget, Memphis got out of Marcus Smart's contract before the deadline, sent him to Washington Wizards. That should help him retain him. Yeah, I agree. I expect the Grizzlies to keep him for sure. Yoshi has been amazing for the 76ers, man. I expect him to get paid a lot of money. I think the Sixers are definitely going to pay him too for sure. But man, oh man, I mean, he took a risk on himself. He wasn't even in the NBA. He wasn't. I mean, I think he made a name of himself not overseas during the Olympics. He dunked on LeBron. I mean, he's been excellent for the 76ers. Definitely one of their top players for sure. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to definitely want him with that mid-level exception. So congratulations to him, man, gambling on himself. Dorian Finney-Smith, top 3 NBA player. Maybe the Lakers keep him, maybe they don't. But any team that gets him, I think, will be solid for sure. Alexander Walker, a bench player, a good player for sure, can shoot the 3, capable of it, but has inconsistent moments for sure. Right? Brook Lopez, I expect this dude to either retire or he just goes to a team that he's going to the bench. Like that's what I expect. You know what I mean? I don't really expect nothing much. Like he shouldn't really have much value. He's not that great no more. Josh Giddey is interesting. It'd be interesting to see if the Bulls retain him because they have a lot of guards over there already in Io. They extended Lonzo Ball. I mean, they got a lot of stuff for sure over there in Chicago. So we'll see what happens with him. And then because they also traded Caruso for this. And then Jonathan Kuminga, this is another interesting one. It depends if they want to keep him or not because they did not give him a contract extension or anything like that. I mean, I could picture Jonathan Kuminga on the Brooklyn Nets. Like, I don't know why. Just maybe Cam Thomas to the Warriors, Kuminga to the Nets. I'm just saying. It might be a little interesting. Julius Randle, I expect him to opt in his deal. Yeah, he has a player option. I expect them to opt into it, but they might trade him. They definitely might trade him. I don't see them extending him. Like he's not that great. But he obviously he's an all-star player, but he's not that great. I don't think he fits with his team. Fred VanVleet, I expect him to stay with the Rockets. I mean, it'll make sense to stay with the Rockets. They're a good young team. And I think he's been playing okay. Not the greatest, but I definitely think he's okay. Naz Reid, this is an interesting one. He has a player option, $15 million. If he opts out of this, he can make some good money, man. I mean, he's a good stretch 4, stretch 5. He's really good, man. Almost averaging 15 points coming off the bench, shooting 40% from the three-point line. That's amazing. Like any contender team would love to have a Naz Reid for sure. Miles Turner, it's weird. Like I expect him to be traded so many times, and he just hasn't. Maybe this is the year he gets traded or he signs with another team. We'll see what happens with that. James Harden's going to stay with the Clippers. I don't expect him to go nowhere. Kyrie Irving's going to stay, obviously, with the Dallas Mavericks. Unless things get a little messy, we'll see what happens with that. And then, obviously, LeBron James, which I expect him to stay with the Los Angeles Lakers. So those are the top 30 free agents this upcoming. Let me know what you guys think. Also, predict where the players should go and sign. And if you guys enjoyed this video, once again, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And I'm out.